Hey guys, what's going on? And it's Cal Freezy here. But today I've got a special guest with me, and it's the FIFA community manager, the guy who does a lot of the. He's the kind of the face of FIFA. If you have any questions or anything about FIFA 12, then you come and ask this man. He goes by the name Romily Broad, I believe. So if you want to introduce yourself, just tell him a bit about yourself. Then go ahead.
Yeah, that's about right. I go by the name of Romily Broad ever since my mum called me that. It was quite a while ago now. Actually, here's a story for you. My mum refused to call me Romily for the first month of my life because my dad came up with the name and she thought it was really weird. And I was called Fred for the first 4 weeks of my life. And then she got used to it, so it kind of stuck after that. But yeah, so I'm the community dude, I suppose. So I'm the senior global community fella. There's an awful lot of us, actually, dotted around the world, talking in various different languages, but I'm the one who's sat here at the studio, which gives me a big advantage over everyone else in that I can see the game being made and all the rest of it. So, yeah, that's what I do.
That's about it. So, yeah, we have Fred here, and I'm going to be asking Fred about 16 or so questions, and I got a few from a lot of my Twitter followers, some being random and slightly strange, and some being pretty good, and I'll be sure to incorporate them. So, we'll start off with the first one that I have, and that was associated with lag of the EA servers. Now, obviously... Mm-hmm. Just because you lag in a game doesn't everyone jump straight to the EA servers and starts yelling at EA saying, what have you done to my game? Yeah. But sometimes it's our own connection. But admittedly, for me, I have been waiting 3 days to connect to the EA servers. And I was just wondering if you guys had done anything as improving them or anything like that.
Yeah, so it is a more complicated issue. So just to start at the beginning, I guess, is we get a lot of that, which is... fix your insert swear word servers, EA, you, insert abuse, etc. But it's never quite as simple as us being able to just respond to that, because it totally depends on what that person's doing, which mode they're playing, where they are in the world, what their ISP is, what their router is. You know, there's a ton of variables that can actually play into this, so it's really complicated. But generally speaking, there are two things. One is if you're playing online team play, and that's where most of the issues we've had are clubs, basically. And then there's ranked play, online head-to-head and stuff like that. So online head-to-head, that's peer-to-peer. So if you're having connection issues, unless there's something really weird going on with our matchmaking servers, if you're having connection issues and lag there, it's almost certainly because of something else that's probably out of our control. So that could be an issue that's slowing down something at either end for one person or another person, or there's something going on with your ISP. Or, it could be any number of different things when it comes to head-to-head stuff. We try and figure out that as best as we can, but it's incredibly complicated. But totally EA server-based is clubs. And the reason... I mean, I'm talking to the converted here, but you probably know how all this works. But the online team play stuff and the clubs stuff works very much in the same way as something like an online FPS. I was going to mention an obvious game then, but I won't. I'll mention Battlefield instead. Keep it on message. It works in the same way. So you've got a lot of people all connecting to one server and information is flowing backwards and forwards between that server to keep everyone in sync. And there are various issues that can occur with that. And that's where we've struggled with FIFA 11. Despite lots of attempts to try and tune the servers and fix the most obvious things that we could in patches and whatnot, but we did have issues. And the good news is that the focus for FIFA 12 has been fixing that stuff for clubs. So at the beginning of the development cycle, which happens about a year before the game comes out, people sit down and they say, here's all the really cool stuff that we would like to do in our game this year, and they come up with this massive, great big list, and they look at every mode, including clubs, and they say, what's the most important thing for us to do this year? And for FIFA 12, it was decided that the time available to spend on clubs would not be spent adding new features. And I know that there's a lot of people that are quite disappointed about that, I think, and I guess that's understandable. But what the decision was made, you've got a finite amount of time, a finite amount of people and resources and clever people to work on stuff. What's the best thing that they can be doing? And because of these issues that we had with FIFA 11, it was decided that by far the best thing that we could do is make that work, basically. Because we think what we've got is there. What we've got is good if it worked all the time. So that's the ambition, that's the aim. And lots of things have been going on, particularly in terms of the netcode in the game itself. Better matchmaking, the servers themselves. We've got these things that we call central servers, which is where that's the sort of stuff that you're connecting to when you're playing clubs. Those are being physically moved and expanded and are going to be in Europe now. So that's, in theory, that should help. Obviously, people are playing clubs all over the world, but most people are playing in Europe. So it's a case of try and please as many people as you can rather than everybody, but that should help stabilise things a bit. And a lot of the lag is because there'll be one person on one team who's in Azerbaijan or something, and it causes everything to kind of get out of sync and it all gets a bit messed up. On the netcode side of things, there's one particular issue that crops up quite a lot called desyncing. Are you familiar with that?
Is that like, as we call it, a button lag, I guess?
Not quite, although that is something as well. So desyncing is where you're playing against someone in an online team play environment, and suddenly what actually happens is that you end up, there's an event in the game, a very specific event that causes the game to go off in two different directions. So on your console, the outcome of that event, whether it might be the ball going out for a corner or whatever, causes your game to behave differently to someone else's, and that's the game getting desynced. And that's very much a netcode side of thing. That's in the game. Very, very complicated, very hard to sort out. It happens to every online game, and it's one of the biggest things that people who are responsible for programming this stuff tackle. And we spent a lot of time tackling that this year as well. So the thing about that desync thing is actually a lot of people don't realise that that's actually what's happened, because you can't see the other guy's game going off in a different direction. You just know that you lose your connection. And so that should be a lot better. And there's a whole suite of things that have been done at that ground level sort of foundational type area to try and make clubs stable, usable, enjoyable with what we've got right now. And that's all the focus has gone on there, and a ton more testing as well, loads of testing. The problem, of course, when you try and put new features in a game is that you spend months and months designing those features, coding them, whatever, dropping them in, and then you've got relatively less time to actually debug and test them. This year, by not adding in, there are changes in the mode, by the way. I don't want to say that we haven't changed anything. We have. But there's no massive new features, and no big new design type things in there, which leaves a lot more time for debugging and testing and all that stuff. So the outcome, theory, fingers crossed, is that clubs itself will be a lot more playable, a lot more stable, a lot more enjoyable this year.
Yeah, so... Sorry,
I went on for a bit there.
That's fine, that's fine, yeah, no, so now there's no excuse for not knowing what's going to be happening to clubs, and I guess that gives the people a lot more of an in-depth knowledge about what's going on, so next time they decide to insert swear word, insert abuse you, they'll be able to think back and remember how exactly it all works and whether it's their fault or not.